Praise the Lord and good morning. Welcome to what is known as Restoration is Promised. This is yours truly, Dr. Colleen Shand, and this is a product of the Voice of Prayer. Today, I want to quickly share from St. Luke 17 and from verses 11, I think, through to 17. However, I will not be reading. Many of us are familiar with this text. It has to do with Jesus heals 10 men with leprosy, and I'm just reading the subtopic there. And so there were 10 men who had leprosy. And the custom at that time is that if you had leprosy, that you could not interact with society. You had to be put away for a period of time. It could, I think, 7 days or 10 days, something of that sort. And so the word of the Lord lets us know that these men stood afar off. So there are times that if one had leprosy and after the period of time that they would be allowed to come back into society, however, one had to be um, cleared by a priest. And so as they stood a distance and they shouted out to Jesus that to have mercy, and when he saw them, he said, "Go show yourselves to the priest," right? That was a direction. Jesus is one who keeps order and law, right? That is a protocol. Go show yourself to the priest. Yes, they had leprosy. And as I said, being separated for a period of time. And when it was no longer evident on the outside of one's skin, because of the period of time that one was stayed away or has stayed away, then they would be allowed to go show themselves to the priest. But it tells us here that these men perhaps just got leprosy. We can come to that uh, reasonable conclusion. Maybe we can draw inference here. And so it seemed as if they still had strong evidence of leprosy. But I don't want to labor on that. I want to look at the fact that Jesus said to them, "Go show yourselves to the priest." I think it was 2 or 3 days ago I spoke on obedience. I'm not quite looking at obedience, but I want to look at this quickly. That when Jesus told them to go, and they did, the Bible also tells us in Kings that there was a man called Naaman who had similar disease. And when he was told to go wash himself into River Jordan, he rejected, he refused because of his high status. And so, until he was sort of encouraged, said, "Come on, if the prophet tells you something," Adamsa said to him, "Come on, listen." And so he did, and he was cleansed. But look at this carefully, and look at this quickly. The point that I want you to walk away with is that there are times that we are looking for restoration in a particular direction, and it doesn't come that way at all. Perhaps we are looking for restoration in your family, and listen, it may be a next door neighbor if you have that dialogue. Maybe you're looking for restoration in your job, but it is not so. It is somewhere else. And so we have to be conscious, we have to be aware, we have to be tuned in, we have to be focused as to when the Lord is speaking. Because here these men, yes, as I said, it was a custom for them to go show themselves to the priest so that they could receive a certificate to be restored and rejoin society in a livable way. But restoration, they came to Jesus, whether they heard about Jesus long before, or they probably just pounced upon him. We don't know. But one thing that we can draw reasonable conclusion is that um, the fame of Jesus grew extensive. Everywhere he went, the Bible said he was doing good. So it could have been the first time, it could have been the second time, they could have just heard about Jesus, but now they're seeing him. And so whatever was the reason, they knew that Jesus could heal them, and that's why they called out to him, right? Called out to him to heal them. And the word of the Lord said that Jesus said, "Go show yourself to the priest." And they left. They went, right? They listened to the voice of God. They went and they got their restoration. All right? So the restorer physically was there. but he sent them, and they went. And so this morning, I'm encouraging someone not to keep looking for restoration in a particular place or in a particular person, but be focused enough to know that restoration can come from any direction, even from your enemy. Be vigilant. God bless you this morning. Continue to listen, share until tomorrow.